It is the year 2235. Humans have conquered aging, and computers do all the work. But all this is about to change. Evil has entered the world. A super virus has been released by one known to us as Vexor. Soon the computers will shut down, and our life as we know it lies in the balance. We have no understanding of the work needed to keep us alive, and soon the world will be tossed into chaos. We have only one hope. The Global Council of World Order has assembled a special task force. Their mission will be to go back in time to obtain information on the careers we will need to survive. Their cover will be elementary school students in the early 21st century. Thus, our fate lies in the hands of these four voyagers. Mark, Ashley, Alex, Samantha, and their holographic guide, Michelle. So, we put our last hope in this mission we have codenamed Career Quest.
Yeah, Mama. Where have you been, Mark?
Miss Jones put me in detention for talking back.
Why were you talking back?
All I was doing was talking to Mark Jones. And she said I was being too loud. So I said, okay, young lady, I'll quiet down. Then she kicked me out.
Well, you have to remember, she doesn't know you just turned 65.
Yeah, I forgot.
Hey, guys, we're being paid.
Hi guys, are you ready for your first mission?
Hang on a minute, Sheila. Let me put you in 3D.
That's better, Alex.
That's about time you called us, Michelle.
I was going over the time scan of your morning events. I see Mark got in trouble at school. Ooh, Mark, when the Global Council hears about this, they may just...
I hate playing these 10-year-olds. It's hard trying to be something you're not.
Well, you better work on it because the Global Council will beat me back here before they let you blow your cover.
Don't worry, it won't happen again.
You guys want any chips?
You know I can't interact with the things in your time, so I'm just a hologram.
Thanks,
Besides, aren't you always eating? I believe that 60-year-olds in the 20th century had to watch their blood pressure.
Give Ashley a break, Michelle. You know you're just jealous because you can't have any.
And not.
Are so?
Okay, whatever. Now are you guys ready for your first mission or not?
Yes, finally some action.
Hold up there, Mark. I'm afraid this may be more dangerous than you think.
What are you talking about, Michelle?
Vexor is on the loose.
Oh,
And may be coming to your time.
oh no!
Speaking of being safe, our science droids have created some sort of comm watches for you. They should be arriving at your replication terminal.
Cool.
Awesome. Cool. What do they do?
3 things. First, they allow us to stay in touch with you no matter where you are.
You have one too?
Not exactly. The communication room that I'm in will monitor everything your watches experience, so once you put them on, you are never to take them off.
What about in the bathroom?
Okay, once you put these on, except for when you're in the bathroom, you are never to take them off.
What about?
You know what I mean.
So what else do they do?
Well, one of their best features is they have cloaking devices.
What do you mean?
Once you have entered the DNA sample of someone into the computer, your watches will allow you to become that person.
Seriously? Yeah. How do you test something like that?
Well, Alex, our scouts tested it when we enrolled you for school. How do you think you got enrolled anyway?
So how does it work, Michelle?
The files are accessed mentally as long as we have the DNA samples.
So who do we have on file now?
You guys, Vexor, and a couple others we scanned for your first mission.
Okay, so I'm thinking of Vexor. Now what?
Put your right fist in your left palm and say Morphatron activate.
Morphatron, activate.
is that weird? Morphotron, activate. Way cool. Is there a time limit on these morphs?
Yes, 24 hours.
What happens after 24 hours?
We've never had a chance to find out, but I'm sure it's really bad.
So what's the third thing the watches can do?
Teleportation.
You mean like walking through walls and stuff?
More than that, you will be able to transport yourself anywhere you want within 100 miles of your watch.
Let me try this one. Do you want to really be torn apart and reassembled somewhere else? No, but it sounds kind of cool. What do I do?
Just tell the computer where you want to go and say energize.
Are you sure about this, Michelle? I mean, you can leave the question just like that.
Oh, Samantha, you're worried about nothing. If we can travel back in time, I'm sure a little molecular displacement won't be a big deal.
I like it.
Okay, I'll shut up.
It's Vexor. You had better raise the shields on the clubhouse parks.
I'm on it.
I'm afraid we don't know how much time you have. You had better start your first mission.
Who will we be morphing into?
Well, Ashley, you'll be morphing.
Can I stay this time on my first mission? I have a major history test tomorrow.
That's okay, but since you can't go, Alex, you'll be morphing Ashley, but go by the name Whitney Grant.
A girl? I'm morphing into a girl?
We've only got a limited amount of DNA samples, but until you collect more, yes, you will be morphing into a girl.
Won't that be a little embarrassing?
Don't worry, Ashley can handle it.
I meant for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the idea of him walking around looking like me.
I'll deal with it. Mark, you'll be morphing into a boy named Anthony.
Where will you be sending us?
We are expecting a few casualties when the computer shut down, so we figured we'd send you to a doctor's office.
Will they be expecting them?
Yes, but he thinks you are a bunch of elementary students, so don't blow your cover.
Don't worry. They have been doing hollow simulations for the past five years. They know how kids are supposed to act.
Tell that to Mark.
Hey, it was only one mistake with one teacher. It's not gonna happen again.
Well, if you are ready for your first mission now, I'd like to morph and teleport you all at the same time. With too many power surges, Vexor might detect you.
Ready when you are.
Go for it.
Morphotron, activate.
Computer, doctor's office, energize.
Thanks for coming. What's your name again?
Anthony.
Anthony and
Whitney.
Whitney. Nice to see you both.
Thank you.
Well, in this area is where I process patient information. When I see a patient, based on whatever type of problem they may have, they come in the office for abdominal pain. You ever had abdominal pain? You know where your abdomen is?
No. Yeah.
That's your abdomen right here. When you get a sick stomach and you're nauseated and you're vomiting and you feel bad all over and you've got the flu, you come in the office and you forgot to comb your hair and you're just dragging along. And you want the doctor to make you feel good again and to perk you up.
Is that your son?
Yeah, that's my son. And to get you feeling good, we take you down into one of the exam rooms, which we'll go into the exam room in a second. You go down into the exam room, and one of the nurses comes along and she asks how you're feeling and what your complaints are. And then she checks your vital signs. Do you all know what vital signs are? It has something to do with life. Vital signs are your blood pressure. Your pressure in your bloodstream has to be high enough to give you enough blood up into your brain, your heart, and your other tissues. And they check the pulse rate, which is how fast your heart is beating. They check your breathing rate, called your respirations. And they also check your temperature to see if you have a fever or not, whether the body's too hot. The nurse checks all those vital signs, and then I come in, I evaluate you, put my hands on you to check your heart and your lungs and your throat and so on and so forth, and your neck, your ears. And then I make a diagnosis and I come in this area and I write things down. Sometimes I may dictate things And you might walk in and see me looking like a space commander or a telephone operator or some kind of NASA astronaut. But I'm really just a doctor dictating information into the microphone, and it shows up on the computer. Let's go back here and look into come up here, sir. Wow, I hit him in the stomach. Oh, his stomach hurts. All right, you're gonna have to sit up here. And let's see now. We're gonna have to check your blood pressure. This is what the nurse does. She comes in, she pulls this off of here, and we would pull that up like that. Try not to pull your arm off. She'd wrap this around here like this. And then untangle the pump. Get her stethoscope in hand. Do this. And while she's pumping this up here, she's looking at this monitor. See that? The numbers go all the way up to 300. And we check your blood pressure. You know how many people would love to have your blood pressure? Oh. Sounded like it was about 100 over 60. You could live 1,000 years with that kind of blood pressure.
Oh.
That's great. So, well, you don't look very sick the way you jumped up off that table. So then there may be other things that are wrong with you that we would need gloves for. To look in your ears, we put this on here. Take a look in those ears like that. And then we look at the other one to compare. Very good. Your ears look just fine. Well, in this area, when we look in your ears, sometimes if you have an ear infection, the infection is on the inside of the ear, behind the eardrum, and we can see how the redness and the tissues are swollen. And they may even have some infection or pus behind the eardrum, and that's called otitis media. And we treat you with antibiotics and tongue blades and cotton swabs. Sometimes people have bleeding and things like that, and we check them for those things too, because we want to check all of you to make sure that everything is okay. And after you examine somebody, what should you do?
Wash your hands.
There you go. Oh, I probably wash my hands 15 to 30 times a day or more. And you have to wash your hands very carefully because I don't think you'd want me to be examining one person and then come and check you, right, if I didn't wash my hands.
Is there a special antibiotic soap you use?
Yep, we have what's called Hibiclens soap, and it has some, it's not an antibiotic, but it helps to kill germs that may be laying on the tissues of the skin. And sometimes after I examine patients in here, I sit down with them in here, or I may take them in my office to discuss different things about their case and their health. But medicine is a very rewarding profession. It's enjoyable. I have a lot of fun with my patients, and it's important for patients to have a good relationship with their doctor, because you want your doctor to be your friend. You want to know that he has your best interest at heart, and that he's going to help you to live a long, healthy life for you and for your children. One of these days you all will grow up and have kids, and hopefully one of you will choose the medical profession. We need some good doctors. We need some good female doctors, and we need some good male doctors. We need good doctors who will take care of their people in the community. Here we have a diagram of the heart, and this heart exam This shows different areas of the heart exam, where we can listen to various parts of the heart to see if there are abnormal sounds coming from the heart. And based on where we hear the abnormal sound the loudest, and where it may also be heard radiating to another area, we can determine what is exactly wrong with the heart just by listening. Sometimes we can put our hand on the chest to see how big the heart is. If the most powerful part of the heart should be beating right here. If it's beating way over here, then that would mean that the heart was swollen, enlarged, which could be on the basis of high blood pressure. You ever heard of high blood pressure?
Yeah.
It could be on the basis of some other type of problem called heart failure and heart valve problems. And we can feel the heart size that way. If you eat French fries every day of your life and eating all kinds of red meats and grease, then it can cause these arteries in your heart to be blocked up. So you kids want to eat more fruits and vegetables. All right, let's see. Who'll be the patient this time?
I will.
All right, you want to be the patient this time? All right. Have a seat right there. Sir, you want to hop up? And you'll be the doctor this time? This piece of equipment right here is a stethoscope. This is how this works. This part of the stethoscope picks up the sound that comes from your heart, and it sends it up this tube in here and through these two little holes into his ears so that he can hear your heart beating. All right? Now, well, let's see here. All right. You put it right there. Her sweater's just a little bit thick, so you may not be able to hear very good, but can you hear her heart beating?
Mm-hmm.
Is it beating regularly like a clock, or is it jumping around like somebody on the basketball court?
Beating regularly like a clock.
Good. Because if it was jumping around like somebody on the basketball court, I'd have to check it to make sure it was okay. And your pulse? See, we can also check your pulse right here. And the pulse should usually matches the heartbeat. If it doesn't, then there could be something else that's going on wrong. So in medicine, we learn a lot of different techniques, and we try to correlate those things or put two things together and match them to see what makes the most sense, and we can make diagnoses without ever touching you with a needle or doing surgery. You don't want surgery, do you? Mm-mm. Well, kids, take care of yourselves. Eat right. Get proper rest. Drink the right things. Put down those soda pops and don't drink so much Kool-Aid and those types of things. You want to drink more water and fruit juices, a couple a day at the most, and you'll have better health. Get some exercise and obey your parents. That's probably one of the best things you can do. Mm-hmm. That'll give you a long life. Okay?
Yeah. What kind of education do you need to be a doctor, and what kind of training do you need?
A doctor of medicine typically is called a physician and surgeon. In order to go into that particular field, one of the most important things that you need is a desire to help people. If you don't like being around people, I don't think you'd want to be a doctor, because you're surrounded by people all the time. And as you go through your education, it's important for you to understand and to help get your parents to help you to understand what things you're good at, what things you like to do. So if you like working with people, you like helping people who are hurt and reaching out to them to give your assistance, then you want to take more courses in the area of math and science. In high school and in college, you'll get into what's called pre-med or pre-medical training. There are required courses that you have to take that are called prerequisites. And then after you have finished those, you can take an examination called the MCAT, which stands for Medical College Admissions Test. In medical school, we have to learn about the body, how it's made, what happens after a baby starts to develop in the womb of the mother. How it develops, what develops first. Brain tissue and then other tissues to do with the heart and the blood. After birth, we deal with growth and development. And in the adult patient, we have to actually look at the skin and the tissues under the body of someone who's not alive anymore. And we can study their bodies to see exactly how the blood flows, where it flows, and how the tissues work together. Anything else?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
How much could you get paid to be a doctor?
How much could you get paid? Well, that varies. Some doctors can get paid anywhere between approximately $75,000 a year up to, depending on what kind of special doctor you might be, to $500,000 to $1 million a year. But there's something else to consider. Doctors make big money, but they also have big bills. And to purchase equipment, for instance, how much do you think something like this might cost?
75.
Probably about $200.
You can buy a stethoscope from anywhere from, as you said, a little less than 75 up to $200, $300, $400 just for a stethoscope.
Well,
You can buy a whole computer for that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the equipment that we have to buy costs a lot of money. And then there are other things that we have to pay for. We have to pay for an accountant who takes care of our finances. We have to hire staff who work in the office, nurses and receptionists and billers, all kinds of things that we have to provide for them. That costs a lot of money. We also have to get insurance of various kinds. Health insurance for the staff, business insurance for the equipment, liability insurance in case somebody falls in the office. We have to get malpractice insurance in case somebody accidentally gets hurt while being treated, and different things. So there are a lot of expenses for doctors, but doctors do get paid well.
Is there any, what's the best parts and the worst parts of being a doctor?
The best part of being a doctor is for someone to come to your office to ask you for help. You give them help, and they say thank you. The worst part of being a doctor is to be misunderstood and for people to think the wrong thing about you. But that's the best part and the worst part of just being a regular person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Best part about being a young lady is when people treat you nice and say thank you for things that you do. And the worst part is for people to say things that are not true about you or to misunderstand you. And a lot of doctors are going through hardship right now in this country and in other countries of the world where people misunderstand. Doctors are real people, just like anybody else.
What kind of advice would you give somebody who wanted to be a doctor?
The advice that I would give someone who wants to be a doctor is to tell them that the most important part about being a doctor is not how much money you make. The most important part about being a doctor is how much you enjoy helping people. If you really enjoy helping people and you're willing to study and to study hard, then it's a profession that I would recommend. But if you don't want to work, if your parents have to keep dragging you and pulling at you to clean up your room and to pick up your shoes and to put your plate away and to fix yourself and do all those things, then, well, you need to work on a little self-discipline, because self-discipline is what it takes to be a doctor. And the self-discipline that you have at home in taking care of your room, in doing your homework, in being obedient to parents, in treating other people kindly, has an influence on how good of a doctor you will be. You see, a lot of people, kids, can simply be a doctor who passes out pills or does surgery or makes diagnoses. But the doctor that a person really wants to go to is someone who truly cares about them. So if you have the skills and you're doing well in school, or you know you can do well in school, apply yourself to the education that your teacher's trying to give you. But never forget who you are when you become a doctor. If you were a nice person before and you liked to speak to people and you smiled and you had fun with them, continue to do that. When you become a doctor, don't become a stranger, a person who thinks that they're better than anybody else, because all people are created equal.
Vexor, activate.
So what was it like being a girl?
Did anything happen to Vexor while we were gone?
There was another chemical disturbance, this time in Sector 22. He must not have detected us because Sector 22 is in Asia.
China was the hub of technology in the 20th century. He must have changed his strategy.
Mark, what do you think Vexor would do if he did find us?
I don't know.
Do you think he will kill us?
I think he would try.
But nobody from our time has killed before.
What's with Vexor anyway? Wasn't he a friend of yours, Mark?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Guys, Michelle is paging us.
Well, how was your first mission?
It was great. He showed us all around his office.
Did you get to see any babies?
No, it was a doctor's.
Not this place, but we scanned a hospital that had babies. Great.
What's so great about that?
Yeah, I could have passed on that part too.
It doesn't sound like much, but when you actually see one, it's different.
You never know, Mark. If you stay in this time too much longer, you may get married and be a father yourself.
Don't talk like that. We plan on having you guys back here before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well, earlier today you said you didn't like being here. You know, most 60-year-olds are grandparents in this time.
Don't even go there. What else did you find?
Well, your average doctor would have to go to college for about 4 years, then medical school for another 4.
On the top of that, they do a residency for 1 year and go back to school every couple of years.
Sounds like a lot of school.
It is, but your average salary goes from about $50,000 to quickly about $100,000.
He made it clear that if you get in for the money, it will break you.
What do you mean?
He said it was a lot of hours, but it's a great rewarding.
Actually, I'm downloading my watch into the computer. I was able to scan most of their medical tools and tap into their medical library. If the computers do crash, I think you have enough information.
Good work, team.
So what do we do now?
Check your mailbox.
Who would send us mail?
You could get a lot. We're advertising a local TV show for kids who are interested in careers.
What address are you using?
There's a letter in there now.
Dear Questers, I think it's fascinating that you got to travel back in time. I know that you will have a lot of important missions to take before the computers shut down, but I was wondering if you could work a mission on hockey into your schedule. I'm very interested in hockey, but I have no idea whether I could make a living at it. Whatever help you could give me, I'd appreciate it. Sincerely, benched in the 22nd century.
So what do you think?
It's workable. I'll see what I can do.
While you guys are sitting around talking, I'm going to bed. I need to get my beauty sleep before I start looking like 60-year-olds in this time.
Well, you better not wake up for a few years.
Haha, very funny.
That's not a bad idea for the rest of you as well. Take your nutrients, tablets, and I'll page you in the morning before you go to school.
I have a major history test tomorrow.
Right. 4.
Can I stay this time on our first mission? I have a major history test tomorrow. Keep going.
Expecting a few casualties.
We are expecting a few casualties when the computer shut down.
4.
We are. Make him stick his teeth.
4.
We are expecting a few casualties when the computer shut down, but stop laughing.
5. 4.
We are expecting a few casualties.
I didn't